He just sent a serious message as following an historic 2025 season, this Yankees player is speaking out on his plans for the future, and the Yankees definitely need to consider their options going into this offseason. We'll break all of this down here on another edition of Yankees Digest. What's going on, guys? Alex Brooks back here on Yankees Digest, giving you guys a daily dose of Yankees content every day of the week. And if you guys are not subscribed to these videos, if you're not a part of the 26.8% who are subscribed to these videos, you guys better hit that subscribe button. Comment down below to join in on this conversation. We're almost at 9,000 subscribers on the channel. We're trying to build this channel up for going into the postseason, so you guys better be ready for the ride here for the New York Yankees. Better hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and subscribe. But going right into this video is talking about Jazz Chisholm, the Yankees starting second baseman. He has been really, really valuable to this Yankees success so far this season. He has been able to do so well with the bat and as well as the base pass and stolen bases. And, when you're looking at someone like Jazz and what he can be able to provide with this Yankees team, not just this year, but moving forward, he is definitely a guy that you want to have in your locker room and in your clubhouse. And he had to talk a little bit more on his future with the Yankees and on the possibility of re-signing with them. He said, "I do not want to leave New York. If you have ever played here, you would never want to leave. It just depends on if they want me. Do they want a 40-40 player? You tell me." And that's very strong words from a guy like Jazz and what he has been able to provide for this Yankees team this year and just over his tenure with the Yankees. And having a guy who wants to be a New York Yankee, I think that's very valuable, because you look at guys in the past who haven't wanted to be Yankees for X amount of reasons. Now having a guy who just wants to be here, I think that's huge. With like outwardly speaking about it, that is huge, because we've seen with the Juan Soto, we knew that Juan Soto just wanted to go with the most money. We've heard rumors that maybe he just wanted, his family pushed him to be a New York Met because of a suite or whatever that story was. But having Jazz before the season say, "I want to be here. I want to be a New York Yankee because it is the way I want to, forward my career, and I want to play in New York." It's just huge for the Yankees team and the Yankees fans, because they will resonate with that. If they have a player that really chooses them, they are going to be all in on their player. And I think that you guys would agree that, having someone who wants to be a New York Yankee, I understand the personality, but that he can put up the stats. And looking at his stats so far this season, just looking at what he has done: 30 home runs, 242 batting average, 77 RBIs, and 30 stolen bases. He is a part of the 30-30 club with the New York Yankees, and it has just been something that has been very, 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 very consistent with this Yankees team, because that every time he goes out onto the field, he's going to be able to produce, whether it be on defense, whether it be on the base pass, whether it be by the bat. He has all of these tools that can make him a really, really good threat to any team that faces off against him. He has a great swing, so that when it comes to the postseason and the Yankee Stadium is rocking for a potential wild card series against the Red Sox, if Jazz Chisholm is on bat and he hits a home run, people are going to be cheering, and that's going to be a moment you're going to watch on YouTube for years and years to come. So I know I'm just kind of presenting that as something that might happen. Maybe, I hope that definitely does happen, but it is something with Jazz and what he has been able to bring, his personality. He's been able to back players up and be a guy who the Yankees can rely on day in and day out. And I think an underrated thing about Jazz and what he has been able to be for this Yankees team, not just on the field, but when he is off the field, he really talks highly about the guys around him. He talks about how Aaron Judge is one of the best players he's ever played with. He talks about how Anthony Volpe and how Ryan McMahon and how the infield is, loaded with defensive stars and offensive stars. He's talked a lot about Cody Bellinger and how he has been able to be a really good veteran for this Yankees clubhouse. So a guy who knows how to, you know, perform on, the biggest stage in New York, but also a guy who has been able to back up his teammates and be really, really a great teammate, but also someone who knows how to, pick up the slack from his other teammates. We've seen that, during the Red Sox series when looking at what he's been able to produce against the Red Sox when he hit those 2 home runs and just being able to put up those numbers, it can really help with this Yankees decision. And I think that's definitely what's going to come down to it. Do they want to deal with his personality off the field? Because we know that he's not only said great things about his teammates, we've also seen that he said some things about, hey, possibly, the Yankees are going to win the World Series this year, or, things that are going to put a target on the Yankees' back. So, do they want to deal with that for the future? I definitely think that with all of that, with putting a target on your back, I think it is good for the game of baseball. I think it's good for the Yankees because the Yankees have the most pressure against every team in the Major League Baseball. They have 27 rings. They have the most rings in MLB history. They are the product of the MLB. When you look at MLB teams, the first team that pretty much comes out of anybody's mouth who doesn't know baseball is the New York Yankees. So you have to have that target on your back every single season, and you have to have that expectation to perform. Jazz is just a little more outward towards that. So he is going to give you a lot of, he's going to give you a lot of social media clicks with his interviews and his comments. But that's the thing with the expectations and the pressure of playing in New York. I definitely think Jazz has been able to handle that with flying colors because what he's been able to produce with the 30-30 club, just huge on what he can provide for this Yankees team moving forward. And this is what I saw from Alex House on Clutch Points. He said, it is also hard to turn down a productive hitter who loves putting on the Yankees uniform as much as Chisholm clearly does. He can integrate himself with the club and fan base even more by enjoying a terrific postseason. While not always the case, October heroics can be the secret to a long and lucrative sports marriage in the Big Apple. And I definitely agree that he has been able to go into this postseason and he's got to flourish. I mean, we talk about how Aaron Judge needs to flourish in the playoffs. I think for guys like Cody Bellinger, Trent Grisham, and Jazz Chisholm, who are all on contract years right now, they have to produce in these playoffs. They have to go into these playoffs, and it is literally do or die for them in a Yankees uniform because if they're able to all produce, they are going to get really good contracts and the Yankees are going to be the number one suitors for all of them because if they know that they can produce with the New York Yankees, it's going to help them to want to re-sign with New York. And we've already seen how Jazz wants to re-sign and he wants to be with this Yankees team moving forward. Definitely think that Jazz needs to have a huge postseason and really lift up this team going into, past the wild card, past the division series, past the championship series, get back to that World Series stage and have a redemption arc going into that World Series. But, just looking at what he can look at these stats from the 30-30 seasons, Jazz Chisholm is one of 3 players with Bobby Bonds, Alfonso Soriano, and now him. So that's good company to be with the New York Yankees. I mean, Alfonso Soriano did it twice. He was a fan favorite for this Yankees team. So Jazz Chisholm being able to produce with the being in that 30-30 club, it is a really exclusive club to be in, and he has definitely earned it this season, what he has been able to produce. And, just looking a little bit more on what he has talked about with playing for the Yankees, he said, I feel like it's boosted my career in 100% of different ways. Just the winning mentality, the winning atmosphere, the way everybody in the front office to the training staff wants to win. It's how I felt like I grew up playing baseball and what I needed to be around to be even more successful. And that's huge because someone who you look at a player who wants to elevate his career and he definitely feels like wearing the New York Yankees pinstripes. It is an honor to be with the New York Yankees and play under the bright lights in the Bronx, the main staple of Major League Baseball, and he definitely understood that, and that definitely is seen with his production so far this season. And just looking at what Brian Cashman can do, where does he go from here? Does he see what Jazz Chisholm put up in the production? Does he see that as something that's going to be for long term? Definitely think that he's going to have a big decision with those big three: Bellinger, Trent Grisham, and Jazz Chisholm. Definitely think the Yankees should sign all of them, especially if they do well in the postseason. But I definitely think that Cash is going to want to sign some of these guys to, lower than expected deals with them, and that might get a little irky when looking at the offseason. But what do you guys think regarding Jazz Chisholm and what he has been able to produce this season? Definitely think that he has really sent a message to this Yankees team that he wants to be back in the pinstripes, and I definitely think he is going to be back in the pinstripes moving forward. But that's going to do it for another edition of Yankees Digest. Appreciate all the support you guys are giving us on this channel. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend, and let's go Yankees.